Posture is one of the biggest things you need to understand for your body to function properly. It's only something I've come aware of recently. I mean, for years I always heard, oh, posture. And that would be in jiu-jitsu or how you stand in boxing, making sure your posture is correct, yoga. But these are only for small amounts of time, where I've recently become aware of my posture throughout the day. And that is standing, sitting, resting, and sleeping. And continually throughout the day, I need to bring my attention back to how I am. What am I doing? How am I standing? How am I sitting? How am I sleeping? How am I lying down? And how am I resting when I'm having a conversation with somebody in the middle of the street? Posture itself, in a nutshell, is bones stacking on bones. So if you imagine your body with no structure other than the skeleton structure, it's stacking the bones on top of each other. So your head is in the right center of gravity over your feet, your spine's aligned, and everything is upright. What happens with people is they start to lose posture. They get into these positions that, from whatever, the way they're talking, the way they're looking at their phone, the style, or want of a better word, of how they are, of how they move. Because people have an individual style, don't they? How they walk. You can tell someone by the way they walk, generally, how they stand. You know, it's that guy on the bike by the way he rides the bike. We all have these little things. If you look at me, I'm on a bike. Think, oh, it's great exercise. But look at my posture. I'm bent at the hip. My head is having to jump back in order to see forward. And it's not great posture. So I have to counteract that when I go home. I have to do backwards bending. I have to counteract the work I'm doing forward, because otherwise I'll end up stuck in this position. There's a thing called Sherman's neck. And I had this happen to me before in Badlands. What happened was because the neck, if you see it, it's kind of like jutting backwards in order to see where I'm going, because I'm bent over. The muscles become so weak from the long days in the saddle. The first day I did 21 hours continuously. And in that, the muscles became weak over days. And after 4 days, my head dropped where I couldn't keep it up. I had to kind of keep my arm under, tie a rope around my neck or my head and pull it behind me. I had to do all sorts of things. I got a cushion, you know, one of those travel cushions, and used that in order to finish the race. Now, how do we look at awareness of how we're standing? Well, if you think about a kid, like if you think of a child, a toddler learning to walk, at the start they're really super wobbly. There's all these micro adjustments. They fall over less, they stand up longer, and now they start to walk, now they start to run, and then you're an adult, right? And you don't even think about all these things. And in that, you don't even have to have great posture to keep upright. So you overcompensate for it. Now you're stacking on tendons. Your neck is forward from you're looking at the phone the whole time, and you're developing a lack of mobility, a lack of movement, lack of range, lack of energy moving through your body correctly. And all of a sudden you're having problems with your neck, and you're having problems with your back, and you're having problems with your hips. So my advice would be to start to become aware of how you're standing. How am I standing? Is everything upright? Is my head stacked on top of the bones? Is it over my feet? Is my center of gravity correct? Is my spine aligned? And another way to do this is to learn handstand. Handstand, if you have the strength to just even kick up against the wall, you're going to learn that it's quite difficult to do, because you've got to bring a lot of things into action. One being your hands. You have to start gripping with your fingers. Two is you got to tighten your abs, tighten your glutes, keep everything straight. And you think about it, a handstand is an upside down standing up. And when you become aware of how many little micro movements have to happen in order to do a handstand, even for a second or two, it's huge. And then I progress that back to how I'm standing. and start to concentrate on where the weight is on my feet. So a lot of times if I'm standing, I start to move the weight on my feet like I would on a handstand. I move it forward, I move it back, I move it forward, move it back. What's that doing to the rest of me? Where's the micro adjustments? I want the weight on the balls of my feet. The balls of the feet is where the bones end on the toes. And that's really what I want. So I tend to just lift up my heel, move around a little bit. A little bit of a bump here, do we? Bump. And find the balance. And in that, find where my shoulders are, find if my abs are tight, find if my glutes are tight. The biggest problem now is phones. That is pretty much it. And you can see it everywhere. You see kids now, and their necks are like forward all the time, looking at the phone. If you're going to be on a phone, bring it up so you're not looking down at it. Otherwise, you'll pay the price. You'll get into a position and you won't be able to get back out of it. And I've never seen so many bent over people as I have now. And in that, what are you going to do? Have surgery? It's never going to be the same. So you can address these little things along as you go. So for instance, concentrate on being aware of your posture. Concentrate on how are you standing when you talk to somebody. Have you got your leg against the wall? Are you leaning on one side? I used to always lean on one hip when I was chatting with people. Never aware of it, never thought about it. And then when I did, I realized I'm putting all this pressure on this other hip. I'm hanging all the weight on the tendons, not on the bones. And eventually I paid the price for that. I had to get double hip surgery. I have 2 hip resurfacing. I got it done at the same time a year ago. I'm back doing everything I did before and better, but would I rather not get the surgery? Yeah, of course I would. But over time, I damaged the hips by bad posture, also by doing hard things, and that's just life. The one-day principle is basically addressing all the things that would make your one day as good as it can get. It's not about death, or it's not about dying, or it's not about any of those certain things. It's really about optimizing your life, optimizing your health, your mind, your body, that you can get the maximum out of each day, rather than get 10%, 20% out of a day. Days are few and far between. You only have so many, they're finite. And as you get older, they're more valuable because there's less of them. But as you get older, all of a sudden now you've not done the work. You've not done the postural work. You've not done the exercises work. You've not done the movement work. You've not done the food. So all of a sudden you're this fat mess and you're 50. And now all you are is negative, out of shape, can't move right, and you've got a hell of a lot of work to do. And you've got into the habit of not doing any work at all, and all of a sudden it's a big ask to get someone back on track. It's possible, but if you start now, every day will be a better day. Get a mentor.
Let's sing together again.